Okay, good evening. Stream time again here from the disaster room, and a disaster it is being. We had some bad thunderstorms earlier today, or a bad thunderstorm earlier today, which caused a number of power hits, and I didn't think a whole lot of it because everything's on the UPS. But it came in here just a few minutes ago to get started, and everything comes on, it seems. But I think I may have lost a USB hub somewhere along as part of that business. Although, as I said, everything's on the UPS. But right now I can't talk to any external MIDI devices. So I had hoped to use the Polybrute and the Take 5 a little bit tonight, but I can't talk to them, which means I can't get them synced to Ableton's clock. So I don't know how much we're going to do with that tonight, and frankly, don't know how much we're going to do with anything tonight, because I had a plan, dagnabbit, but everything else, I mean, it seems to be okay. I've got the synths turned off at the moment. They do play fine, both the Take 5 and the Polybrute they play just fine. So everything is, I think, fine except for the maybe USB. Although that said, I did a thing where I bypassed the USB ports and connected the MIDI interface, the mioXL MIDI interface directly, and I still can't talk to it. It's not showing up as a connected device. Oh, here it is. It's alive. So let's see if maybe I can get that to talk now. It is showing up now in the manager. I can show you that. So the mioXL's got this really nice management tool, and here's the button. So you can see their management tool, and it's now showing the mioXL, and you know, I can go in and set MIDI routings and all that kind of stuff, although, let's see, Polybrute, MIDI in is going to the right places and all that kind of stuff in the system, or in the mioXL. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on the Polybrute, and we'll let it warm up a few minutes. And also, from across the room, talk to you, I'll turn on the Take 5. There we go. And they'll be maybe ready to play something in a few minutes. Let's see now if Ableton's going to recognize them out of the box, or if I'm going to have to go through some gyrations here. No, still not recognizing anything there. However, let's see. Let me try. I'm going to do one thing over here. Let's bring mic 2 up there. Okay, so you'll hear me doubled here for a moment. I'm going to drop out of Ableton. And sure, we'll save the changes. All right, you should still hear me. I can't hear me. You don't hear me very much because I'm running straight to the mixer now. But we're going to go ahead and restart Ableton Live, which hopefully won't take too long. And let's reload the project we were just using. And why can't I see? There it is. Open Relive. Boom. And okay, should be back. Yes, we are back. And if I hit play there, that'll start again. Let's see now if I see the Oh, the MIDI ports, yay, they're all here. But they don't show up the way they're supposed to. Oh, that's interesting. Huh. Okay, so the mioXL lost its mind as part of that. Let me see here. I'm going to try to reload the preset. Power it down, power it back up. It goes away. Yeah, it lost all its routings. Isn't that nice? Oh, well. That's kind of a drag. Wow, that shows up really strangely. Yeah, something's not right. All right, yeah, I love the mioXL mostly. I have my gripes about it. I'm not real thrilled about the way they chose, the way they've got the USB ports implemented. They're basically useless to me. Let's see, what do I want to make sure? I want to throw at least sync out to, oh, what ports? 4, I think, is one of them. I'll do 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so I can play the polybrute. I need a little more of it. Did not get sync come over from the did not get timing coming over though yet. Should have. Hey, Webbit. Let's just start sending sync everywhere. Polybrute's usually pretty good. Well, Polybrute actually is the one that's tricky about locking up the stuff. Let's try the take 5. Okay, that got sync because it's playing, so that's cool. Take 5's got sync, so we can do some ARPs with that a little later. Polybrute's going to do what the Polybrute's going to do or not. So anyway, that's that. I'll have to fix that later. Such fun. That storm that came in kind of snuck up on us today. It wasn't expected until tomorrow, and it came through and just dumped a ton of rain, and like I said, there were some power hits. The temperature went from almost 100 in the back on the back side of the house. I'm sorry, on the front side of the house, which was in direct sun, to 85 degrees, and the back side of the house, which was in shade, went from 95 or so down to about 80, and in about a space of about 10 minutes the storm came through, did its thing, and then within 20 minutes of the storm coming through, we were back up, 10 degrees easy within again another just a few minutes. It's crazy. So anyway, that's that. Let me get that stuff rearranged here. The joys of tech, and we wait till that reconnects, and okay. So a couple housekeeping items from left over from last week. Eric had one too. Wasn't too bad. Humidity jumped up a lot after. Yeah, it was almost 70% humidity before the storm, and I don't know what it is now or what it was after. I didn't really look at the machine or at the meter, but it's sticky, that's for sure. And I know Wabbits to the south will be by a couple hours. I don't know what kind of crazy weather he might have had today, but. Was Wabbit hiding out in the basement, in the hutch? That's what I would have. Well, I was in the basement for most of the day. That's where my office is. Sunny and warm, low 90s, and it never got cloudy or stormy at all today. Wabbit. It's really weird. I mean, at least here in this area, the isolated storms are just crazy. You know, it's like they'll pop up and slaughter us and then disappear. So, anyway, like I said, some housekeeping from last week, or last couple weeks. I had talked about, when we were talking about the oscillators and the voices and whatnot for Zebralette, I had talked about polyphony, paraphony, monophony, all that kind of stuff. And I went to do a little bit of a deeper dive because that came up as to what really is polyphony, and I started to go in. I still maintain and will continue to maintain that anything where you can do what I'm going to show you here in a second. Let me stop playback here real quick, and I'll put up. Oh, let's see. I'll put up camera 3. And so you can see the keyboards here. So if I can do, and this may actually play. Yeah. If I can do this. And I can hit notes and I can get chords out of it. That's polyphony. If and let's grab something else to demonstrate this real quick. Let's go into this track, and I'm going to dump in. Let's see. We'll put the computer back up so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to grab. Oh, let's see. Oh, where is it? I want to grab my mouse instead of the stupid trackpad and go to plugins. And I'll go to Arturia and I will grab Mini Brute V, drop that on the track, and that will load up. And let's do a basic mono patch. So let's see. I can't see tonight. My glasses are giving me nuts. Let's see. Where is it? Well, let's do this. Let us grab this guy. So this is a mono synth. Oops, yeah. Okay, so it's I'm going to come up an octave so it makes it a little more musical. And go back to showing you keyboard. I can hold this guy down. Actually, maybe better the overhead shot, except that the mic's in the way. Let me get the closer overhead shot and tilt it down a little bit. Come on, there we go. Okay, so we'll put up the overhead shot. So I can do, so as I'm hitting notes, that's monophonic. And actually, I can't really do that with this. I need two oscillators to show what I wanted to show. Well, that was dumb. All right, let me get a better choice for this. Sorry, wasn't thinking. We'll go to he, and I'll grab Diva. Let's see. And what do we got? Okay, that's Poly. And I apologize, I was not planning to do this way, but so I don't have the neck, boom mic on me. I'm just using the open mic. Let's see. Hit that. Let's find a preset. Let's jump brass, not jump bass. I'm gonna try and find another bass. Okay, and I'm going to bring the sustain up on these. So definitely monophonic. Now, I've got 3 oscillators, and I can make a chord. I mean, I can do a detune. I know that's horribly tuned, but whoops. Get back up there. Okay, so I'm making more notes than one when I hit the key, but that's not really, to me, that's not being able to play a chord. I should be, to play a chord, if I hold C, E, and G, each one of those should be sounding a note. So, to me, anything that can do a chord, a proper chord, constitutes polyphony. So the question then becomes, what is paraphonic? And that's where we start getting into different kinds of polyphony and the art, how a chord or how a polyphonic tone is articulated, for lack of a better phrase, or lack of a better term. And that articulation gets down to, being able to, how are we routed through the synthesizer? And so, are we routed through all of our voices through one filter, or does each voice have its own filter? The argument then becomes that paraphonic is one that goes where all the voices go through one filter. Okay, fine. It's still polyphony. And so, as I said, I was going to do a deep dive and get into all this. And what I discovered was that Marc Doty did a much better job than I would ever do. So in the show notes for today's show, down below the link, there's a link to his short form discussion of polyphony, and in his short form half-hour discussion, there's actually a link to the full in-depth discussion in history of polyphony and everything that he talked about. It's 2 hours of really good and really interesting information if you're interested in that. The other thing that came up as part of that conversation specifically was how long has the term paraphonic been around? And I think Andy came up to what he thought was the first uses of it was in Roland's RS-505. And the interesting thing about that is if you actually get into looking at the RS-505, the only place that paraphonic is mentioned in relationship to the RS-505 is on the front panel. There's no mention of being paraphonic in any of the advertising literature or in the instruction manuals. The advertising literature very specifically mentions that the synthesizer section is polyphonic. Now, the architecture or articulation is what we would now call paraphonic, but they are very specific and very clear that they're calling it polyphonic. And the string section is polyphonic, and then the bass section is monophonic. So my thought, and obviously I think Marc does talk about the RS-505 somewhere in his long-form dissertation. My thought on that, I haven't had time to watch all of it yet, unfortunately, but my thought on that is it's their way of saying we can do more than one sound in parallel, because that is one of the meanings of the first half of the word para. And it means so parallel sound is one way that paraphonic could be defined. So, I mean, that's that. That's the paraphonic thing, paraphonic, polyphonic thing. To me, in a nutshell, that's where I'm going with it. I'm going to plant my flag on a hill and I'll die there on that. So, so yeah, that's that for the paraphonic thing. And so that's about all that I'll say about that. The other thing that I wanted to clean up from or talk about, I've been struggling, as you know, with getting any kind of with my processor usage on what should be a killer computer, and I still don't understand it. But you know, if we look at what's going on just with this one Zebralet 3 track playing, and it's not a terribly complex sound that I came up with in this, I don't think. I mean, we can put that back up. Get that there and there. You know, so there's the patch again. We've got the custom waveform that I did last week, whatever it was that I was talking about, Zebralet. I've lost track. You know, we're not doing a whole lot here. We are modulating that oscillator waveform or wavetable, but you know, I do that in other synths as well, and it does the same kind of result. You know, if we look at the processor, let me take myself out. You know, if we look at the processor, you know, current processors whacking up to at peaks 70%, averaging 30, and all I've got going on is the one track of audio. I have my mic, and I've got a compressor. Essentially, that's it. Essentially, that's everything that's going on. So it's you know, it's being a little frustrating. The short of it is that I think that, and this is not just on this computer that I'm having this kind of issue. This is on all three of my Windows desktops. This one is the i9 with Windows 11 latest version, 40 gigs of RAM. The other two machines are AMD Ryzen based machines. One's an old Ryzen 5 with 16 gigs of RAM, and the third machine is a Ryzen 3 with 20 gigs of RAM. Surprisingly, the oldest machine does the least poorly. The old Ryzen 5 does the least poorly, which I find very interesting, because in all other respects, it's the slowest machine I own. So I don't know what's going on there. I do know though that it's making it very difficult for me to do any kind of serious production. The older machine is running Windows 10, but I don't. I opened this particular project up on that machine downstairs on the older machine with Windows 10. And its CPU usage is also atrocious. It's not quite as bad. You know, I may be saving a couple percent I don't really think there's that big a difference between Windows 10 and 11 as far as that goes. Not that I've seen anyway. Now, maybe something that's particular to the set of plugins that I'm running, but I'd really like to be able to run these plugins. I should be able to run these plugins like this, or actually I think Diva's still hanging out in the background here on this in this track, but yeah, it is. But let's stop this. It'll stop in a moment. Ah, shoot. Did that again. Just stop. You delete. You come back there so you can see my anguished face when I screw things up. Let's bring. Let's grab Diva. Diva's typically fairly intensive too. But even Diva, let's actually let's get a nicer patch back up. So that looks good. Oh, that's a mono patch. But I mean, if you watch that CPU meter, which is just right there, and I hit this note, it's like it jumps up pretty good. Actually, let's stop ZBruLette altogether. Get over here. Turn it off. And just to be sure, we'll delete it. So if I run, let's do something that's not a. Let's do something that's find something that's polyphonic. Maybe that. Oh, that's gonna be a drum kit probably. Let's see what that does. Get on the right track, dummy. Oh, that's mono also. I know there's some nice pads and stuff in here. Here we go. Jump brass will work. Now, so that's kicking processor up to 40-some% right off the bat. I've got the multi-core turned on Diva, and playing that chord is really whacking hard on the processor. We can drop in. Let's grab Vital. And grab a patch. It's kind of typical of stuff that I might do. One of mine. That one's probably fine. That pegged to the CPU. And that's just, it's not a very, it's just not a crazy patch. So, the short of it is that I think that after all these years of defending Windows, all right, you can stop now. Just of defending Windows, it's time for me to move. Time for me to make a move and go to a Mac. So. Now I'm into the how much Mac is enough, how much Mac isn't enough. I know it's going to be a Mac Mini. At M2 Mac Mini, the question becomes how much memory do I really need? Some of you who are on the on Synth Seeker Discord will know that I've discussed this a little bit out there, but. I've had some conversations with some folks around the world, and there doesn't seem to be a clear consensus on whether 8 or 16 is enough or too much or not enough or anything. You know, there's people that are doing stuff that are far more complex than what I do in 8 gigs of RAM with no problem at all. So I'm thinking I might try a base model Mini. I just need to check and see, get down to if I buy a base model Mini and it doesn't work out, how long I've got to send it back. So that was the yellow. Yay, Synth Seeker. How you doing, Luke? You came in just as I was discussing the move, the impending move to a Mac. I'm tired of fighting the battle with processor usage on all these Windows machines and it not making any sense. So we'll see what happens. Gasp. Yeah. Well, and you know, I mean, I've been a fairly staunch supporter of making a Mac or making a Windows machine work, and you know, I'm done. I've had enough. I won't put up with any more, as the song goes. So anyway, that was that. What you did miss, Luke, is that. Well, yeah, and you know, and ASIO, you know, I don't know. I mean, I'm still going to be in ASIO land on the Mac because I'm not buying. I don't think there's. I don't know that there's Core Audio drive for the interface that I have. We'll see if Core Audio works. That'll be even better. But they don't talk about Core Audio for my interface, or my primary interface. So we'll see how that ends up going. But the other thing you missed, Luke, is that we earlier today had a really bad thunderstorm, and it wrought havoc with my MIDI interface. So a lot of stuff is acting up. I did get it working a little bit again, but it's lost all of its mind as to, you know, what the MIDI routings were and all that kind of stuff. So and everything here is on UPS. So I don't know. I ended up having to bypass all of my other USB stuff. So I think maybe I lost a USB hub. I'm not sure. There was lightning and there was thunder and there were multiple power hits. But like I said, everything in here is on a UPS. So not sure what's up with that. Don't know. I'll figure it out later. Yeah. So the only thing I've got talking properly now in the MIDI world outside of the computer itself is the Take 5. The USB MIDI direct back to the computer is working fine. So the Keylab and the Control-S are working exactly as they're supposed to be. USB control to and from iPads is working correctly. The only thing that's not working, the mioXL lost its mind, and you know, I may just have to redo its presets. I have it says it's got the one loaded. Aura XL shows all the correct routings, so I'm not sure what's up. Something else to dive into in my copious spare not time. So anyway, let me put the. I'm going to disappear from audio for a moment. I'm going to reload this project back the way it was. So stand by with me for just a second, and I'm going to click here and say no, don't save the. And we're back. That's one thing this machine does really quickly, is that kind of reload. So yeah, what's that? And you know, I had all kinds of plans today. Today is Monday, and you know, Monday is my Monday is my office day. It's supposed to be a light day. I do, you know, I do stuff in the morning where I am, I do the banking stuff for the company and, you know, all those kind of, you know, nice, simple things. And I'm, you know, maybe make a couple of phone calls. And, well, today just exploded completely, ended up on the phone with a government purchasing agent, a new government purchasing agent for over 2 hours, you know, and it's just like, I now know more as I made the kind of sort of snide comment, if you will, in Ranting Humans on Synth Seeker's Discord that, you know, I now know this woman better than I know members of my own family. So, you know, there's that. So anyway, let's do that because we can. So, you know, that was my day, and then that begat a whole round of requoting of a large job, and the day just went away. My plan was to, was not to have to deal with fixing any of this stuff in the studio. My plan was to take the guitar downstairs today and actually work on a couple of songs that I have to learn for Thursday night, you know, and some other stuff I have to get ready for for some time away and all that kind of stuff. And just, you know, it's just been a day. And, you know, anything that I had planned for tonight is kind of out the window. There was another thing that I wanted to talk about tonight, and I can't remember what it was. And going back, Eric, yeah, I know 16 gig will, may future-proof me somewhat. And that thought is in my mind. However, what I'm thinking, the bigger bottleneck that people are seeing with the M2 Mac Mini is not in 8 gigs of RAM, but it's in the relatively slow 256 gig SSD on the very base model. There doesn't seem to be as bad of a performance hit when you have the 512 gig when it does the RAM swap. And the other thing that, you know, in all of the, well, my music is not very dense. I don't use a huge number of VSTs. I don't use a huge number of tracks. I mean, I think in all the time that I've been making music on a computer, the highest track count I think that I have ever done has been 16 tracks. And as far as plugins go, you know, it's probably a mixture of maybe 60% plugins in that case, and the rest were recorded instruments. And so I don't know. I don't know that I necessarily have to splurge on the memory. So what I need to do, and right where you came in, Luke, I was just saying the question is I need to find out what I need to be able to test on a machine. It's really the only way that I will know for sure whether it's going to work, whether an 8 gig machine is going to work for me or not. And so the only I've got to talk to my Sweetwater rep and see how long I have if I order a base machine, how long I have where I can say no, this is going, or say yeah, this is going to work for now, or no, this is not going to work at all. And if it's a reasonable amount of time, I'll go ahead and hit the base model, see what it does, see how I like it. Because the other thing is, I may decide, you know, I don't like the Mac world anymore. I used to love it. I may not like it anymore. I don't know. So I don't mind spending $600 to try it and maybe return it. Here's the other thing. If I'm going to go ahead and splurge and get get 16 gig of RAM and go ahead and get the bigger, the 512 gig hard drive, I'm going to go up and upgrade the processor too. And it's not that huge a jump to go to the M2 at that point. Once you've added RAM and added hard drive, it's only another $100, I think, to go to the next level processor, which gets me, what, 2 more performance cores. And so, it's kind of that might as well kind of thing that if anyone, well, no one's going to remember that story. So, because that goes back to Tonight Show, Johnny Carson, Steve Lawrence, years and years and years ago. But at that point, if I'm going to do that, I might as well go ahead and jump up to the next level on the processor as well. But the first step is I think let me see if see how I feel about the Mac in general. Because the other side of that is that I don't necessarily mind spending some money to try something, even though it may not be the end all device. And the other thing, Luke, is I don't want to buy used or refurbished because there's no return policy on that. You've got it. Once you've got it, you've got it. I also know, the performance difference between the M1 and an M2 is in general is sizable. So, it's what, 25-30% faster or something like that, because because it's still got the same number of processor cores and efficiency cores between the M1 and the M2, basic M1s and M2s. But the 18%, okay, that's a pretty sizable. That's almost 20% faster. That's sizable, or 20%. Faster is not necessarily the best phrase, but it's got 18% more gut. Let's put it that way. More get up and go. And that may not necessarily translate to speed directly, but it will translate to ability, I think is the better way to describe it. So that's, and like I said, I don't mind, heck, over my shoulder over here, I tried, and I actually loved that machine that's back there. Back there in the corner is the first 27-inch. Yeah, the first 27-inch iMac, the first one that had a quad-core processor in it, was a quad-core i5. That machine was great. It actually still is, except I can't run anything modern on it. And I probably should have traded that machine out a long time ago, but there it sits. Yeah, back there. Get my finger turned around the right way. So, anyway, it's a phone call to my man at Sweetwater and see what he says about the subject. The other thing is, I'll have a good conversation with him about it probably on Wednesday, or maybe late tomorrow, because I have tomorrow I'm out on a customer site again much of the day. So either late tomorrow or sometime on Wednesday I'll talk to him about it. The man has never once steered me wrong, and I've come to trust him a lot as far as his thoughts about ways to do things and gear and whatnot. So it's a reason I've been going back to him for almost 18 years now. Just always get good answers. So if you Synth presets instruments from various vendors. I'll load them on Ableton. We can check. So okay, so some of the things that we've discussed already. That I already know that you have. Zebralet 3 is one that it is absolutely choking this computer. Well, I say absolutely choking. It can absolutely choke it. And I can certainly share project files. I uploaded a couple of things to the Discord. Patch files for Zebralet, patch files, a few other patch files that I was fooling around with, that the UA Opal synth that I liked, but I can't run it. It just, so I didn't buy it. Sometimes even Vital. So I'll put together a particularly offensive project file. We'll upload that. I'll upload that, and people can play with it who have whatever's in it, and we can get whatever kind of talk about results. But perfectly happy to do that. That'll be fun. Yeah, we tested with Opal, Luke, and your result was far less processor use, far less. Well, I don't know how to get a memory footprint out of this thing, because it doesn't. Unlike the Mac, this doesn't really break out the sub processes that are running to tell me how much memory a plugin is running within Ableton. It just tells me Ableton's using all this memory. So I guess, I'd have to load up without a plugin, load up with a plugin, turn the plugin on, do some stuff, take some measurements, and I know that I can look at performance impact, and actually with this, I've got it turned on. Let me bring it back. So right now I've got all that's really running is an instance of Zebralet, and for some reason the reverb, which is a stock reverb, stock Ableton reverb, is taking up some processor, even though it's not really doing anything. It's just hanging out, and that number is varying, which is interesting. Or that you can see that LED, so to speak, pulsing a little bit, like it's actually doing something. So I'm not sure what's going on there. The compressor, according to this, is not doing not having any impact. All that kind of stuff. So I want you to open one of my projects on the Mac. Okay, that makes sense, Luke. I will grab a project, I'll pick a project and send it over. We should before I send something up, we should try and choose something that I know that you've got presets, or that you've got the plugins for, or that they're readily available to either use this in test mode or keep for free. So I'll find something like that, and we'll pick that up later in the week. I'm not making a purchase or decision until probably next week anyway. So that's the thing to do. That's probably the thing to do. But anyway, I had some ideas for tonight's show. Everything's broken. I've been yammering here for 50 minutes. We'll get no no positive hits on tonight's show, but what the heck. I'm still trying to remember the other topic that I wanted to hit. Let's see. I hit the polyphony paraphony thing. Check the link in the show notes for the best answer that I've seen with from Marc. I think that's his piece is fantastic on the subject. Let's see. Talked about memory usage. Does anybody else remember what I wanted to talk about? I don't remember. Shoot! And I left it. No, I didn't. Bear with me. So, as you remember, I was fighting for a while getting the Keylab to work correctly. It's working flawlessly. I thought I had the Minilab 2 working correctly. This is the Keylab Mark II. I thought I had the Minilab Mark II working correctly too. I did not. It continued to steadfastly refuse no matter what I did, which is a shame because it's got some nice features, some nice functionality, but for something that I could connect to a laptop and just go have fun when I'm on a camping trip or something like that. I wanted a little keyboard with the ability to control Analog Lab and control Ableton for just little light projects, just to have some fun. I got fed up. I got tired of playing with it, and I had a conversation with Tatro about it. He had done a demo. Finally, did a demo of the Minilab 3 with Ableton Live 12. It just works. You don't have to think about it. You plug it in, you turn it on, the thing does what it's supposed to do. And so I ordered one. He's the only person I've seen that actually did a demo of it, or did something on the Minilab 3 showing Ableton 12, and it just works. So happy about that. That was one of the other things I wanted to talk about tonight. So that is that. Can't think of anything else really that I wanted to talk about tonight. And with things only halfway working, I'm not sure how much fun I'm going to have making music. That, and I'm tired. And so anyway, I think I'm sorry there's no musical mayhem tonight. Yes, grumpy. I have a frown. So I appreciate people stopping by, Luke and Eric and Wabbit. Appreciate you all being here. But I think that I'm going to push that again because, why not? We'll put that up one more time before I go. And I think I'm going to turn Zebralette back up, the sound that we had last week. Oh, before I go, yes, there are... made a thread on Discord. We'll do it. Okay. Thank you, Luke. Couple housekeeping items before I go. These are also in the show notes, but just for the people that have lasted this long, subscribe. Yes, like and subscribe. Visit the website, GerenM.net. But the other housekeeping items, again, in the show notes. No stream next week. My presence will be elsewhere. I may release a new song on Bandcamp, and there'll be some announcement of that. That may show up next Monday, if not before. But no stream next week. And definitely releases are great. And Luke, I haven't had a chance to listen to all yours yet today. It was not a fun day. But I will definitely be listening to that tonight after I get off here. The other thing is that on the 28th, at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, we're doing another one of those worldwide synth jams. They are so much fun. So please join me here or hop on Luke's channel. It is the 28th at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, whatever else in your time zone. There will be announcement here on YouTube. There'll be an announcement on the website. You can, like I said, you can watch it here. You can watch it on Luke's channel, Synth Seeker. You can watch it on Andy's Synchrotron. I think Andy's going to be there. Oh, you're not on. You're not going to be on. You're sitting that one out, Luke. Okay. Well, then I'll take that back. Both you and Jeff. Okay. And Andy was iffy at one point. So anyway, it'll be on my channel for sure. So this will be the place. This will be a place to see it. If you will just want to join in audio, me and Dan and Anna. Okay. Cool. So there'll be at least 3 of us on the jam. That should be interesting. You can either come to the YouTube channel and watch us, or watch me anyway, live, or if you go to the website, in the right-hand column, there is a audio-only player, as well as being able to watch the stream from the website. So should be a good time. We'll be at it for about an hour. And then we'll all head over to Luke's place for his Sunday afternoon stream. So that's that. And then I will be rejoining for the regular. I don't know if I'm going to come on do a stream on the 29th or not. That would be the following Monday. Keep your eyes peeled. I'll let you know. We may have exciting things to talk about or not. So anyway, I think that's going to do it for me tonight. Thank you, everybody who did come. Appreciate it. Good seeing you all. I will find a project to upload to the server and with whatever specifications it needs. And I will talk to you all soon. Thanks for coming. Oh, there's a lightning bug outside my window. Yay. Take care, Eric. Take care, Luke. Take care, Wabbit. Whoever else is here, thanks. We'll see you all soon.